If you love pretty planners, organization, and serotonin in paper form, you're in the right place. Hey friend, I'm Christina, and today we're going to unbox my Erin Condren lunch day order. I did get a planner in the 12 spoiler alert colorway, so of course I had to pick up the new dual tip markers that go with that. I have never gotten one of these before, but I thought these were just the cutest little things, just little spiral notebooks, and I got the Legacy. And I picked up one in the 12 colorway as well, just because I thought they were so cute. And then they had this one in this little, I think it's called Garden Blooms, but I have a planner cover in this as well, and I really liked it, so I thought this would be really, really cute. Let's see. Of course, the free gift this year was one of the notepads in either the 12 or the Legacy colorway. I went with 12. I did grab both sets. I love these little bookmarks, especially in like my notebooks as well. They're great for keeping your place if you're working in a specific spot in your notebook. So I did pick up the Legacy just because I really just wanted this one for the colorway, but and then I picked up the 12 as well since that one's gonna match my planner. And then here is the welcome packet with the new black dual tip marker. I say new, it's not a new thing, but it is a new one for me to use when I say that, because I did get one in my launch order last year. And then it has the two postcards in there. And then I did pick up the 12 sticker book. I didn't get one last year, I don't think, but this year I thought it might be nice, and since it's monthly, I can just, use a few to decorate my planner just a pinch. I did pick up the metallic foil toile cover. And then I picked up this cover. It's actually called Toile Y'all, and it's not a new cover by any means. It's been on their site. You've probably seen it in like a beigey, creamy background with pink. And I happened to notice the title of it. It's what caught my attention. But I swapped out my colors, obviously, because I really love purples. And so I thought this would be nice because it would go with my planner, with the inside being kind of floral and fitting that theme, but it would be in my favorite color. And you can change the color, so like you could have a blue or a green or whatever color. But I noticed a lot of the accessories this year, they really went with like pink, yellow, and blue in both the Legacy and the 12 colorway, which is fine. I get it. But, the purple girlies, I thought this would make a nice option. If you also love purple, you can, it's got the floral 12 feel to it, and you can choose whichever shades of purple you like the best. And then, I know this is weird, but I put the foil Legacy cover on this. I didn't love the Legacy colorway for the planner itself, but I loved the cover. So I plan to use this on a notebook of some sort. And so I got that on there, but I picked up the extra covers that I wanted as well. I did get a silver platinum coil. The reason for that is because this year they not only did they upcharge, they've always upcharged for getting gold or rose gold. It's an extra $10. But if you did that, that was $10. And then if you went up to the 18-month planner, they increased that from $5 to $10 this year. So that was going to be like $20 if I wanted the 18-month coil in gold. I actually have an 18-month coil that is gold on my current Erin Condren planner, and which is the dashboard, and I'm not a fan. It technically runs out in December. I could use it till then, but that layout is just not working for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to uncoil this planner. and I saved my money on a gold 18-month coil, and I'm just going to reuse that coil because it's still in great shape. So that was the thing that I went with this year to do. Move this box out of my way, and we can take a look at the planner here. So of course you get the little stencil bookmark. I've heard some mixed reviews about this. I really love this. I use the top line for like highlighting. I can use this for highlighting too. I use these little squares and circles, and I actually find myself using the ruler quite a bit. So I'm a fan. And then, like I said, I've also got the little bookmarks. So if I have special sections in my planner that I need to get back to pretty easily, I like to use these for that, and makes my life easy. So you open it up, you've got the butter yellow on the inside. Of course, this is the legacy cover. I will probably end up using this one or this one, just depending what I'm in the mood for. I love the fact that you can swap out the covers on this, so it kind of gives your planner a refresh. Of course, you have the vellum page. That just gives it a nice little extra feel. And then you have your nameplate page. After I am done with this planner, I think I'm going to try to place like a picture here so that I can keep this page. I just think this would be so cute framed or scrapbooked or something. And I'm also going to do the same thing with this page. I'm going to put a picture inside this and keep this little page. I just think it's so cute. And then your 12 box page has the toile coming into it. And then you've got the mini month page, and they've added lines this year. I kind of like this a lot, just so that quarterly, if you have big things, you can note those at the bottom there. I don't really use this page for anything in particular, but I guess it's good to have it up here for references right behind your mini calendar, so that, you know, if you need to add like a transparent date dot or whatever to the back, you can. And then this is a Let's Keep in Touch page. I think this is kind of outdated for most folks, but I'm really excited about this because there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. So there's 18 of these. I'm going to try to figure out how to do it mathematically, how I want to do it. But I was kind of hoping to have like one person per month that I am like specifically praying for and sending a card. But I also could potentially, you know, put 2 names in here if I wanted to. So I'm not sure how I want to do that, but that's kind of my thought process. And then they give you the May and the June calendars in here. The only thing I can think of is if you need to pre-plan for appointments, you know, you could jot them in here, or use them as like a way to look back and see, like if you did something in June and it needs to be done in July as well, then you could look back and see when you did it. Otherwise, I don't really use these very much, but it is what it is. I do have an idea though for how I'm going to use. I think I'm going to move into this planner early and start in June, which is coming up very soon, because with this planner, they also give you July of 2027. So I'm thinking I will just redate this and use this. I can use my June 2026 monthly calendar, and then I can put this page up front and all of these weeklies. And I realized the color is a little off, but I can redate them. And that way I can kind of go ahead and get started planning this month, since the dashboard planner that I previously had is not really working for me. This will give me the option that I can just move those. So when I recoil my planner, I'm going to recoil it so that these will be up in the front in that section. And, you know, I'll probably just use one of my little bookmarks to keep track of it. But like I said, that way I can get into it earlier, because I'm really excited about this planner, especially the layout specifically, so that I can plan the way that my brain needs to plan right now. But there's July, then you have August, and then you have September. Here's October, November, December. Love that color. Not sure how I feel about the colors, like where they placed them on the calendar, but I did like these colors better than I felt like I liked the other ones. And then here's January and February. Here's March. I actually wish they would have done March for February's color, but you know, not me splitting hairs or anything. April, then May, and then June, and then of course we're back at July. That's July 2027. And I showed you briefly, here's the monthly dashboard page. So what I was doing in my dashboard planner, and I probably will continue it in this one just because it is working for me, is like, this is 5 large events and or bucket list. So like my May had Nurses Week because I'm a nurse. It had Teachers Week, and then it had each of the 3 kids that I had graduating. I had one graduating pre-K, one graduating kindergarten, and I have one graduating high school. So it had all of those because those are like the big events of the month that are going to stand out and be special. And then this box I use to write my monthly Bible verse. My goal is to memorize 1 Bible verse a month and to really focus on it, not just memorizing it, but also really applying it to my life. So that's why it's like 1 verse that I'm kind of focused on, like hyper focused on. So that's what that box is for. And then this box I have been using as like a running monthly bill pay. So that way I can check it off once I pay it. And then this box right here, I was using as like a prayer over my month. Just, you know, when I was kind of hoping that the month would, what the month was going to hold, and like blessings of the things that were going to be happening, and my personal, you know, growth and development, as well as like my walk with the Lord. So that was kind of like what I would put there. And then this has kind of always just been a brain dump page for me, or like sometimes I'll do if I'm paying bills and I am trying to like watch my budgeting really closely. Sometimes I've used that for that. But I did get the budget section in the back. We'll look at that in just a second. And I'll show you my idea for that. This is the layout that I went with. I have never tried this layout before in Erin Condren. But this is the one I went with. And I went back and forth through all the layouts and did all the pros and cons. Talked to ChatGPT about it, about what I wanted in my planner, what I wanted to be able to note and accomplish and things like that. And so this is what I came up with. It was that this one was going to work the best for me. So each of the bigger boxes that are even, this is today. So it's going to hold, you know, the weather, any major events for the day, or appointments, you know, things that are encompassed in that day. And then focus, which it can be like the one thing that absolutely has to get done if nothing else does. Or if there's something that I want to focus on for that day, like if I really want to focus on making sure that I drink enough water because I'm dehydrated, whatever I want my focus to be for that day, that's where I'm going to put that. And then this is my to-do list, like for the day. And I just want to focus on putting tasks that have to be done that day. And then this is our dinner plans. I don't know that I'm going to use the habit tracker. I'm not a super big habit tracker person, but what I had thought about is just putting Bible reading and prayer, because those are 2 things that obviously I want them to be habits, but there's something that I want to do every day, and checking things off does make me happy. So there's that. That's kind of my thought process. So then you do get the line note section in all of them. You can opt to get extra pages. I did not. The reason being is because Erin Condren recently had like a huge sale on notebooks. And so I have a bunch of notebooks they have lined paper. If I need it, I can use a notebook, or I can clip some out and pop some extras in here later if that's what I need to do. And I may even coil some more on whenever I recoil it, just depending on what I think my needs are. Then this section I got because honestly, I don't see a lot of people get this section. And whenever I was looking on YouTube, I couldn't find anybody. Like, I saw some folks that got it. I think there were a couple of affiliates that got it because Erin Condren sent it to them. So they didn't necessarily pick it for themselves. But I couldn't find anything where people were actually like using it and showing you how they used it. So it looks like there's some monthly spending summaries. I'm trying to think if there's enough. So that's 2 months worth. If you only use one page, there's 2 months worth, 4 months, 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, 12 months, 14, 16, 18, 20, 24, 26, 28, 30. So there's like a right much. You can almost use 2 to 3 pages a month there of that. And then I love that it had the savings tracker because I do want to grow my savings. So there's that. You get a couple of pages of those. And then you've got a debt or payment plan tracker, which is also another thing that I really want to do. I've got a couple of credit cards that I really just want to pay off and be done with. So that is that section. So specifically, one of my goals for June is like to just do an assessment of my spending. Like, I'm just going to write down literally everything that I spend for June so that I can kind of highlight, like, do I really need these things? Are they true needs? Are they wants? Are they things that, could have waited, that kind of thing. But just to get a feel for my personal spending and how I can start saving more. And, not even just saving more, but like if I'm not spending there, I could apply it to like a debt or a payment plan and get it paid off faster. So, but I want to do 1 month of assessment, and then that way I can make changes and improve some things from there. Then you have some 2028 pre-planning, which is really weird to talk about. 2028 seems crazy. And then you have another little page here. Again, I really want to use these. I think, let's see, there's one here in the front. I'm thinking I could like trim that off and put a picture there, like a family picture. I could put 2 little family pictures and frame these. Like, I can trim this down to whatever size that I need to make like a mat. And I could even cut that out. And then put a picture behind it, and it would be like a mat and a frame, and that would be really pretty. And you'd have a little matching set of 2, and that would be very vintagey, like if I could put them in a vintage gold frame. Then you get these little stickers in here. I always say I'm going to use them. I never do. I usually take them out though so that I can reduce bulk in the planner. They're not that big, but they are kind of, they're extra either way. But so you've got these little muted tones, and they're very cute, but I'm just not a big sticker person. I do like the happy birthdays and the little cupcakes and stuff. So, but that's what you get. And then you get these little minimal, I kind of wish they would have done like gold, because I feel like gold would have looked better, but, and then this pink little folder. I am not the hugest fan of pink, especially pale pink, but there we are. There we have it. So that is the life planner that I chose for this upcoming year. I am fixing to move into it very soon. And you've got some very beautiful muted tabs in there. I really like that. I think you can easily kind of cover this up if you wanted to with stickers, if you're not a big fan of the colorways. To be honest, I almost went with the minimal this year, and I have never done that in my life. But I think this is kind of what won me over with the toile, was the intricacies and like the work that they put into it this year. I love November and December. Those are my 2 favorites, I think, especially December. I love that one, the color. So, but I also like how it's kind of simple, and I feel like you can use any of the dual tone or the dual tip, the dual tip markers to mark in here, and it's still going to look good because there's very little here, so any of these colors are going to look good in here. So I can still have some color coding if I want. And the same thing with the weeks, like all of the weeks look pretty neutral. And so like I could still use a navy in here, and it's going to look nice, and it's going to draw my attention to that part if it's an important thing that I want to note. But then also a black ink pen, which is often my go-to in a planner for whatever reason. It's also going to look good. So that was kind of the reason why I went with the toile this year. I feel like, other than I definitely just refused to get the Legacy because they ditched 2 purples. And I know they put that little year tab up there, but that was just not enough. It was very frustrating for me because there was honestly like 3 pinks and 1 pinky red for a total of 4. There were like 3 blues and 2 greens and 2 yellows. And I was just like, I cannot believe out of all of that, we couldn't get just 1 month to be purple. And so that frustration kind of pulled me away from using the Legacy as the interior this year. And the colorful is usually my go-to, but here we are, and I honestly am very excited about it. I am going to change this off, and I'm going to put this on probably first just because it's purple and it makes me happy, but I'm also kind of torn between this one too, so we'll see. We will see. But first I will uncoil it because it's pointless to put it on right now. But anyway, so these are the things that I picked up from the launch. I was really excited about this order. I'm very excited to get using these items. I probably will not break into my sticker book until July, but I am going to try to go ahead and get planning in June. So be sure to leave me a comment and let me know which planner you got for launch day. What layout, what colorway did you use? I'm excited, and especially let me know if it's a new one. Like I said, I used the dashboard last year, and I've heard it was like their most popular one, but I really feel like that's because it was brand new and no one had used it before. So I'm kind of curious to see how it does this year, how it fares with just people ordering it, because like I said, it just did not work for my brain very well. So, but I am really excited to try the vertical. I think that's going to be my sweet spot this year, and for the phase of life that I'm in and what I need in my planner. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I hope that this brought just a little bit of joy seeing all of the very cool Erin Condren goodies from this year's launch. All right, take care. We'll see you next time.